When someone says, "I hate people," most listeners jump straight to the harshest conclusion. They imagine someone rude, detached, or emotionally damaged. But psychology paints a very different picture, because if you've ever felt that yourself, if you've ever walked into a crowded room and felt your battery die before anyone even spoke to you, what you're feeling usually isn't hatred at all. It's a protective response your mind built over time, and every part of it has a real psychological explanation. The first reason is social exhaustion, and it's far more common than people think when a person spends months or years being the one who always listens, always gives, always stays calm, always shows up. The brain eventually stops linking people with comfort and starts linking them with depletion. That shift doesn't happen because someone chooses it. It happens because the nervous system learns from repetition. So when being away from people starts to feel peaceful, that isn't necessarily withdrawal. It may simply be a mind with no energy left, asking for relief in the only way it knows. Then there's disappointment, and disappointment is quiet, but it changes people. It usually doesn't come from one dramatic betrayal. It builds in layers. One moment where trust was misplaced, another where vulnerability was met with indifference, another where hope was followed by the same old letdown. After enough of those experiences, the mind starts protecting itself before pain even gets a chance to land. It lowers expectations. It creates distance. It prepares for disappointment in advance. That isn't cynicism for the sake of it. That is the nervous system doing what it was built to do: reduce harm. Psychology also shows that some people are naturally wired to reset in silence and solitude, not because they hate connection, but because crowds, noise, and shallow interaction genuinely drain them more than they drain other people. For them, being alone is not a void, it's recovery. It's where their system finally unclenches. It's how they come back to themselves after being overstretched by a world that rarely stops talking. There's another piece that often gets overlooked. A lot of people who say they hate being around others are actually extremely perceptive. They notice contradictions. They catch fake energy. They sense subtle dishonesty and performative behavior almost immediately. And once you see those things clearly, every interaction starts costing more. Because now you're not just participating, you're also processing everything underneath the surface. You're reading what's off, what feels forced, what isn't being said. That invisible labor wears people down, and eventually, it becomes too expensive to keep spending that kind of energy on people who don't feel genuine enough to justify it. What psychology makes very clear is this: none of this automatically means something is wrong with you. It usually isn't a permanent condition, and it definitely isn't proof that you're flawed. More often, it develops after someone's boundaries have been ignored too many times without any real consequence. And when a person finally starts guarding their time, attention, and emotional energy, it can look from the outside like they've given up on people. But that's not always what's happening. Often, they're just becoming more discerning. The world gets smaller, yes, but what remains inside that smaller world becomes more honest, more peaceful, and more real. After enough stress, emotional boundaries naturally start getting stronger. People become more intentional about who gets access to them and where their energy goes. That's not antisocial. In psychology, it can actually be a healthy adjustment. It lowers overwhelm. It reduces anxiety. It protects against emotional flooding. Most importantly, it gives a person back a sense of control over their own inner world. So if you've ever wondered why other people seem energized by socializing while you feel completely drained by it, there is an answer. You're not defective. You're not cold. Your mind learned how to defend itself, and from a psychological perspective, that makes perfect sense. That's exactly what this channel is here for: real psychology explained in a way that actually matches lived experience. No dramatic nonsense, no fake inspiration, no over-the-top performance. Just clear, honest insight into the things you've felt for a long time, but maybe never had the language to explain. If this resonated with you, subscribing would mean a lot. There's a lot more coming.